I want to introduce to you Manny and his mom, Mary Ann, Lisa and John Walsh, and then Pedro by video. Come, Manny.
My mom and I both have struggled with drug addiction. My parents were divorced by the time I was the age of 4. My dad raised me till I was about 11, and then my grandparents took over from there. As a child, I was exposed to pornography, drug use, and of course I suffered sexual abuse as a young child. I became addicted myself when I was 10 years old, and that addiction lasted for nearly 40 years. Even though I came to Christ when I was about 16 and became very involved in a church, I soon dropped out and my life spiraled into not only using drugs, but also getting busted and eventually getting sent to the Texas Department of Corrections in my late 30s. I went to prison. The first time I walked into this building, what then known as the Summit, was in 1982. I've seen many rock bands right here on this stage and lived out the slogans of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Many times I would come to this building for a concert, drunk and high. Eventually, as I said, I ended up in prison. In January 2017, I had come to the end of my rope. After many failed drug attempts at sobriety, I got up one morning and cried out for God to remove my addiction. I turned on the TV and Pastor Joel was on. That's when I felt like a voice spoke to me to get up, to go to Lakewood, and to take my mother with me, who had also suffered from addiction. We came to Lakewood for that first time in January 29th of 2017. As I was sitting back there in my seat, and all these bad memories of my time in this building flooded back to my mind, and that's when the Lakewood worship team came out and began to sing. I began to cry, and I cried through the entire service. That morning, I rededicated my life to Jesus Christ. I remember Pastor Joel asking me to give 1 year of my life, and he promised that it would get better. I gave Lakewood a year, and his words did come true. My life changed that day at Lakewood. I am now free of my addiction and have been clean and sober for going on 3 years. I served and was a participant of the Men's Encounter. I also graduated from Maximize Manhood in February of 2019. I now serve in the Celebrate Recovery Ministry, both here at Lakewood on Friday nights and inside the Carol Vance unit, which is a prison unit for TDC. I also do Celebrate Recovery at the Open Door Mission, which is one of the nation's largest Christ-based rehab facilities that's right here in Houston, Texas. Me and another volunteer bring about 14 to 15 guys here every Saturday night to the service right here at Lakewood. Through Celebrate Recovery, I get to go to other churches and share what God has done for me in my life. And I attend church here at Lakewood every week with my mother, who is also free from addiction and generational curse. Thank you, Jesus, and thank you, Lakewood, for what you have done for me. My encouragement is that if there is anybody out there who is still struggling with any type of an addiction, whether it be drugs, alcohol, pornography, and you feel like you're at your wit's end and you're in a deep, dark hole, I'd like to give you encouragement that through Jesus Christ, Lakewood Church, and one of our many ministries here, including Celebrate Recovery, if God can change my life around, He can change yours.
That was beautiful.